When you picture a black panther, you imagine the ultimate movie monster, a phantom predator slipping through the pitch-black jungle, invisible until it's too late. But here in India's Kabini Forest, that iconic dark coat is actually a massive biological liability. Look at this image. Against the sun-baked dirt and pale brush, a solid black leopard like Saya sticks out like a sore thumb. The problem gets much worse during the dry season. For months, the trees lose their leaves, stripping away any overhead cover and turning the entire landscape into a bare, brown wasteland. This brings us to his biggest obstacle, these guys. Grain langur monkeys sit high in the canopy, acting as a forest-wide security system. Because his black silhouette contrasts so sharply with the dead brush, they spot him from nearly a mile away and scream to warn every animal in the area. Then there's the physics of his mutation. This graphic breaks down the thermodynamic penalty he pays. While a normal leopard's lighter, spotted fur reflects some of the sun's rays, Saya's solid black coat acts like a sponge for solar radiation. He absorbs and retains extreme heat, draining his energy rapidly just by walking in the daylight. To survive, let alone overthrow the reigning alpha leopard Scarface, Saya has to figure out how to outsmart an environment that weaponizes his own genetics against him. Down on the forest floor, Kabini is heavily guarded by massive apex predators. The ground is run by a 500-pound tiger named Kaal and sweeping packs of wild dogs called dholes. A pack of 20 dholes is so aggressive and organized that even adult tigers run from them. This graphic shows his biological loophole. On the ground, against a tiger 3 times his weight, or 20 swarming dogs, Saya mathematically cannot win. But tigers are simply too heavy to climb, and dholes completely lack the necessary claws and muscle structure, so Saya weaponizes gravity. Shifting vertically into the canopy, he creates an unreachable sanctuary, bypassing a heavyweight ground war he was never built to fight. But staying in the trees doesn't solve his overheating problem. To cool down during the dry season, Saya must travel to the backwaters. The flaw is that water is a magnet for everyone. These watering holes are prime ambush territory, heavily patrolled by tigers that want him dead. His solution is a 10-ton unintentional bodyguard. Asian elephants also gather in huge numbers at the water. Elephants have a deep instinctual hostility toward tigers. If they spot them near the herd, they will aggressively charge and drive the predators away. Saya treats this interspecies rivalry like a shield. By timing his trips to coincide with the elephant herds, he drinks and cools off in plain sight, protected by a massive moving fortress. Eventually, the dry season breaks. The monsoon rains arrive, completely transforming the Kabini landscape into a thick, lush jungle. He finally has overhead cover, but the core issue remains. He must hunt without triggering the langur monkey alarm system. The new dense canopy blocks out the sun, casting pockets of intense pitch-black shadows across the forest floor. This graphic shows how Saya exploits high-contrast optics. In bright sunlight, shadows become exceptionally dark. A spotted leopard in this shadow line still reveals its coat texture, but a solid black shape against a hard shadow line vanishes completely. Saya abandons traditional stalking and navigates strictly through these deep shadow corridors. By mastering the geometry of light, he bypasses the monkeys, turning his greatest physical weakness into perfect camouflage. Now that he can move undetected, he finally secures a steady food source, consistently taking down prey like the spotted chital deer. With regular meals, he builds the heavy muscle mass and sheer physical stamina he lacked during the long, starving months of the dry season. Fully powered, Saya finally makes his move. He directly confronts Scarface, the established alpha leopard, challenging him for control of the territory and the dominant female. The fight doesn't last long. Outmatched by a heavier, energized rival, Scarface is forced to retreat up a tree in fear, officially surrendering the Kabini Forest. Dominance in nature doesn't always belong to the heaviest predator or the one with the most natural camouflage. It belongs to the animal capable of cognitive adaptation, the one that can take a severe biological penalty and figure out how to forge it into a weapon.